Hello, I'm David Kerr, Professor of Cancer Meds at University of Oxford. I'd like to discuss a paper that has been published recently in Annals of Oncology, my old journal, by some pals of mine, Carlo Lavecchia, Paolo Buffetti, a fantastic bunch of Italian epidemiologists, predominantly from the Milan region. They've done some wonderful work over all the decades I've known them, projecting cancer death rates across the European Union. And this report makes interesting reading. They use very large databases that they've helped to establish. They've used a clever regression model, something called join point regression, to be able to make estimates of death rates for 2021 across the most populous countries of Europe and compare those to death rates in 2015 and earlier, given this extraordinary longitudinal database they've got. This is a useful tool because it allows policymakers, clinicians also, to understand where the major cancer health problems lie and therefore to be able to divert the necessary resources to the right tumours and to the right stage in the cancer journey, if you like, in terms of cancer control. So it's a terribly useful piece of data and very well worked out by a highly respected group. What they show is that there have been a significant reductions across the board in many of the common solid tumour types. We're gaining ground with breast, with stomach, with colon, with lung cancer in men, not yet in women because there's still an upwards trend because of increased incidence rates that reflect what's happening in terms of death. But the one tumour that sort of sticks out as being resolutely difficult is pancreatic cancer, where we've seen significant reductions, as I mentioned, in the majority of the common solid tumour types. We don't see this with pancreas at all. Now, in terms of the epidemiology of pancreatic cancer, estimates have been made that 20% of pancreatic cancer cases are caused by smoking, and therefore tobacco control is a very important element of the European Union's approach to cancer control, correctly so. But it's interesting, although we've seen big improvements in male lung cancer because of very major improvements in tobacco control, we don't see this to remotely the same extent in pancreatic cancer. Perhaps in younger patients, those under 50, we may start to see some reductions coming there. So perhaps we're seeing some early signs in younger people that the tobacco control regime is starting to make a difference. Other contributory factors to pancreatic cancer, diet, diabetes, and so on, don't seem to have changed too much, and therefore it's disappointing that the death rate for pancreatic cancer remains pretty flat. Now we know that it's a desperate illness, that when it presents at an advanced stage, when it's metastasized, then life is very significantly abbreviated. We just don't have enough tools in our cancer therapeutic toolbox to be able to deal with it, and that's probably the overriding factor. So from this huge large-scale study, there are a number of things that we can take. Some really good news in that when they compare the projected death rates for 2021, take that all the way back to 1988, they can show that between 1988 and 2021, probably there's been a reduction of 5 million deaths that have been avoided because of the improvements in prevention, early diagnosis, and treatment. So isn't that fantastic? Over that prolonged period of time, we can see that maybe 5 million avoided deaths because of the steps that we've taken to improve every element of the cancer control journey. Pancreatic cancer sticks out like a sore thumb, so we need better, more thoughtful health policy aimed and focused at pancreatic cancer, better understanding of prevention, better understanding of its biology, improved means of early detection that are cost effective on a population basis. The third thing that made me smile a little is that my friends, my very good friends, this fantastic Italian group, talk about the EU27 and the UK separately. So because of Brexit, this is something that I'm going to have to get used to, that the UK figures, which broadly parallel the rest of the populous European Union, is reported separately. So we are an island unto ourselves, as John Donne might have said, and I guess that we're just going to have to get used to being rather distinct and rather separate um, than we have done for the past couple of decades. So, very interesting comparative study. We need a laser sharp focus on what we're going to do about pancreatic cancer globally, I think. And here's some very compelling data um, um, telling us that we must focus on this disease. Thanks very much indeed for listening. Progress made. 5 million cancer deaths avoided between 1988 and now is something to rejoice and to shout from the rooftops, but more progress yet to be made. Thanks for listening. Welcome any comments that you might care to make. For the time being, Medscapers, ahoy.